Right, together with me, I have my fellow KPs and also school leaders who will be assisting in answering some questions if you have along the way. Other than me, I have also Madam Masti here, the teacher IC for this program, who will share more about this program too. So before I start off today's session, let me go through some housekeeping matters with parents, yeah? All right, parents, today's session, okay, will be recorded and it will also be uploaded on the school's YouTube site. Give us about latest 3 days for the link to be ready, and we'll be sharing with with you parents. All right, parents, during this session, I'm sharing, Madam Masi is sharing, please feel free to type in your questions under the Q&A tab if you have any. All right. However, there still will be a Q&A session at the end of the sharing. Yeah. So without further ado, all right, let me share with you the agenda for today. All right, first, I'll be sharing with you what is one-to-one learning device program, also about our goals and our objective for having this program. Then Madam Masti will be sharing with you the learning device environment, how the P3 classroom is like, when we use technology in the classroom. Next, we also have our sharing by our alumnus. She's not here, but she has already recorded, she also shared with us her recording about her journey using iPad and technology in the classroom from all the way from primary 3. And now she's also using iPad in the secondary school. So at the end of it, we still have our Q&A session. So parents, let me share with you our goals. Okay, in Admiralty, all right, we believe that empowering our learners with 21st century skills is essential for preparing them for a rapidly changing world. In our technology-driven society, we want to ensure our admirals know how to navigate digital tools and platforms, which is very crucial for their personal and professional success. I think the ability to effectively find information, evaluate the information that they got, and use it and create information using digital technologies will equip our admirals to thrive in the complexities of the 21st century. I'm sure parents, you know about what's the challenges that, our kids going to face when they grow up. So believe that integrating technology for learning, such as the use of technology, digital tools for research, collaboration, and creation will definitely empower our students to take charge of their learning. Here, in the screen, you see about digital literacy, collaboration, critical thinking, how the children actually create their own learning, and the admirals become independent learners. Okay, parents, technology is a powerful tool that can support and transform education in many ways, from making it easier for parents to create instructional materials, and also for the children to be able to learn and work together in a more engaging environment. Here in MRT, we have cyber awareness program, lessons by teachers to instill digital skills, which is crucial for helping learners to navigate the digital landscape. I think this is one of the things that one of the concerns that parents may have about cyber awareness, about whether they're able to use it more responsibly and effectively and even safely in the digital world. So parents, do not worry. Other than just using the device, we also ensure that our students know how to use it responsibly. When technology is used well, it will definitely enhance the teaching and learning in class. Later, Madam Masi will share with what are tools and also the application that we use in Admiralty Primary. Why a device at a young age? This could be one of the concerns that you may have. Technology has impacted almost every aspect of our life. And, IT, technology is everywhere here. And education is no exception. We know that technology is here to stay, and the increase of tech you can see in the past few years, especially during COVID and after COVID, the post-COVID situation. We want our admirals to understand that the devices that they are going to use are for learning purpose and not just for entertainment, such as watching videos and playing games. I'm sure at home, parents, there are many students, many of your child actually have phones, right? Or maybe you have one for them to be able to communicate with them. So the device that they have with them open up many learning opportunities. But then they need to know that these devices that they're going to use, the smart device that are given to them is actually for learning. And opportunities that is open wide for them for collaboration, teamwork, it will definitely enhance their learning throughout the education, throughout the education life, in the education life. The point that our school want to point out is that, parents, during the school closure, during the pandemic, we have experienced this, and our admirals actually managed to continue their learning to be able to adapt the situation well. Mostly our P3 to P6 students able to adapt. When there's a school closure, the teachers are equipped, the students are equipped. They have different platforms that they can use to learn anywhere, anytime, wherever they are, they're able to be able to learn. And without the device, I think it would actually hinder their learning. I think at P1, P2, you know that your child has been exposed to SLS. So SLS is not just the platform that we use in our learning in school. There are actually many platforms that the children use at P3 to P6, to engage them in their learning and to enhance whatever knowledge that they have. In a way, whatever ICT skills that they have learned in primary school will actually allow our admirals to transit well to secondary school. Like many of our alumni, some of them actually came back and gave feedback that, hey, Madam Faiza, we actually the ICT ambassadors in our school. We help our peers to use technology because in primary school, in Admiralty, we actually have been using devices. So it's actually a breeze for them. They learn much faster than their peers, and they are actually there to help their peers, how to be able to navigate the applications, navigate the device well. I understand that you may have other concerns. Here we are actually working together with parents. We believe that when children are taught at a younger age, the habits, inculcating the values, they will have the correct mindset and more pliable towards the rules and regulation which we have imposed on them. And also how we control them in handling their devices. So when children are being exposed to a far richer experience, they know what to expect. And then, they will know that they will know what is right, what is wrong in the situation when, they are faced with. I do understand that parents mentioned that, hey, can I opt from this? Parents, even though your child opt out from not having any device, they will still learn, together with their friends. Okay, for us, we're thinking that rather than giving the devices later, where children may face more resistance towards control, I think it's now that they will learn how to be more responsible with the routine sets by the teachers, with the teamwork that we have, the school, parents, and teachers. I'm sure they will be able to adapt to having devices as a learning tool. So let me start off with what is our one-to-one learning device program. We actually started this program in 2013. It's a long-standing program and it's here, but definitely there's some changes. We started off with just one P3 class. This is a pilot class. And at that time, we're actually using our own school loan iPads. However, we believe that with their own device, the students have greater independence in their own learning. And they can even archive their own learning. This is very unique in Admiralty Primary because not many primary schools have this kind of one-to-one program, whereby the children have to bring their own iPads or tabs. Okay, maybe you have heard this in secondary school, whereby they have their own personal learning device. Yes, they have restarted it because of the COVID pandemic. So you can see that MOE actually make sure that every secondary school students have their own personal learning device. And for us, we have already started it way ahead. Okay, so next year, your child will be banded according to the aptitude and learning dispositions. Previously, we have iPad class and non-iPad class, whereby whoever have devices, they'll be banded in one class, and those who do not have devices, they will be banded in another class. However, we have not for the past few years, we have done away with that already. Okay, so your child will be banded according to their learning attitude and learning disposition because we believe that it will benefit them more. Okay, since our school is not one of the future schools, we were actually facing a lot of problems in terms of infrastructure when we first started. But it does not deter us. I think the teachers, the school leaders, everyone work together to make sure that this can happen in our school. And this proved us right when actually COVID pandemic struck us. Well, like I mentioned just now, it was a breeze for us. Yes, we do have problem with P1, P2 because we still need to, teach them how to log in, how to do their assignments. But then for our other levels, it was a breeze for us. So I mentioned just now in Admiralty, we have moved much ahead than most of the primary schools in Singapore. There are also other educators who came to our school to learn from us, and we do also learn from other schools that actually have the same program as us. So let me share with you the learning device program key features. Like I mentioned just now, the children will have to bring their own personal learning device. Okay, you can have an option of iPad and also the tabs. However, in Admiralty Primary, we actually prefer the children to our admirals to use iPad. Why? It's because of security issues. But we do not put a blanket rule that they all have to use iPad. We do have students in P3, P4, P5 who use actually tabs in their learning. Okay, and also to assure parents, we have this management, mobile device management, where both parents and school can control your child's device. Okay, like stated in the slides, okay, the school will control the device from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. school hours. So during holidays, the administration will be released to you, so you're able to manage your child's device, during the school holidays. Okay, what I mean by managing means that for us, all right, we will be the one downloading the applications, any apps that the child will require in school. And also we will have to ensure that they can log in to any application very briefly. That means they do not have to key in any password for their Wi-Fi. Okay, so when they come to school, okay, the iPad will automatically tap into our school Wi-Fi network. So parents, if you want to buy devices for them, you do not need any data. Okay, what is required is only iPad with Wi-Fi. So like I mentioned here, okay, a minimum of 64 gigabyte storage. For now, I know that currently Apple have not released any new model yet. Okay, it's more of generation 10. However, we may, they may, I'm still waiting for news from my vendor mentioning that probably there will be a new launch. So for now, I'm still waiting for news whether, there's going to be any new launch for the iPad. Yeah, because definitely the price will change. So today I'm not able to share with you pricing in regards to the iPad, by our vendors, our recommended vendors. But however, parents, you can always go to any telecom company for you to look at the pricing, whether you want to buy a new device for them or even a pre-owned device, whichever you think is whichever you think is suitable for your child. Just to share with you, our P4 current enrollment, we have about 86% of our pupils having their own iPad. About 1.4% have actually using tab, and about 11.6% of them have actually do not have any device. But do not worry. I mean, teachers will have prepared, if they require the child to use device and your child doesn't have any device, they will have prepared a hard copy or even, make arrangement for your child to share the device with their friends, or allowing their child to finish the assignment at home. We do hope for 100% enrollment to the program. However, of course, I understand there are definitely some concerns by parents. So here I'm going to share with you another features of the learning device program, which is a blended learning environment. What does blended learning environment means? It's a combination of the traditional face-to-face instruction with online learning, soft copy and hard copy. And also soft copy means digital resources, right? That the children can use. The teachers will definitely think through, when they are using the device to ensure that every child is being engaged, even though your child doesn't have any device. blended learning actually gives a flexibility for our students to learn at their own pace. Sometimes teachers actually personalized resources to meet your child's individual needs and preferences. Definitely the engagement in the class when they use the devices is much more higher. And the children actually are very motivated. Later in the next slide, I will just share with you parents a lesson that I personally did with my P3 class. When we have this blended learning environment, routine and structures are put in place. Admirals will know the expectations from beginning of the year, what they can do and what they cannot do. Any misuse of the device, we will take it very seriously, and the device may even be confiscated if your child, did not use the device or they break the rules. So let me share with you what blended learning environment is like, what I've done with my P3 high mother tongue lesson. So if you can see here, actually during this lesson, I'm a mother tongue teacher, so I teach P3 high Malay language. This topic we have this topic about traditional games. So one of the main focus on that day was Chapte, one of the traditional games played by our parents or ancestors. So what they need to do is they have to research on Chapte. So they were to know how Chapte is being played, what is Chapte, what are the materials used to make the original Chapte. So after that, what they need to do is that they have to present what they have researched, and actually they share each other the information that they have collected. Some may add on whatever information that they did not manage to find in the, they did not manage to find. So these are like collaboration that the children, can do. So you can see here, the next step is that from the information that they have researched on Chapte, they have to design and create their own Chapte with the materials that they have on that day, like paper, like pen, pencil. Then they have to present why they use the materials, because you can see that sometimes they actually apply their science concept they've learned. So you can see the picture on the right side. These are all their Chapte. It's originally made by them. So you say they made from paper. So they do ask questions. And even I actually ask them questions. Well, which Chapte you think is the most similar to the original Chapte, and why? And then they can give ideas, they can give their inputs, opinions. So this one lesson that I did with my P3 higher mother tongue students, using device to help them in their research, enhance their learning. So they were very excited because one of them actually pointed out, they told me that, Madam Faiza, we have to put information, the source where we got all this information from. I said, very good. It's one of the point that maybe some of the P3 students doesn't know, in the classroom doesn't know. So these are what we say that, we share learning, we collaborate, and then there where they actually take charge of their own learning. So next, just I mentioned about the mobile device management. Maybe you have heard from news in regards to mobile guardian, parents whereby Ministry of Education actually use mobile guardian to manage the secondary school students' devices. So rest assured parents, we are using Mozile instead of mobile guardian. We have been using this for the past years, many years that we have actually gone through. We did try mobile guidance once, but we find out that Mozile is much more suitable, and it's easy for us to manage the child. And in terms of security, Mozile is definitely much better than mobile guardian. And actually, yeah, it proved us right, in our decision to actually choose Mozile. What this mobile device management does is that, it manages your child's device. If parents are using smartphone like Apple iOS, you can actually link your device to your child iPad, and you can manage your child's device. And for parents who use Android phones, you can actually go through the web, to manage your child's device. So linking, you can actually know what are the applications that they are using. You can limit their number of hours, their screen time. All this is available. You can do it to manage your child's device. On our part, it's more about pushing down the application, blocking undesirable and unapproved website for the children. So when they are in school, there are certain websites when they try to log, they cannot. That means there will be a note there mention that this is unapproved. They are not able to go in. They cannot access that website. So just I mentioned about the control, the administrations that we have, we're going to manage more to Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. So after 4 p.m. parents, it's released to you to manage your child's device. Yeah, because it's a co-managed, management. So both parents and school will be able to manage your child device. Next is, next slide. Okay. Like mentioned just now, these are some of the concerns that parents may have. We understand that. So mentioned just now, here we are using the MDM to be able to manage the screen time. In school, teachers know the number of hours that the children can use. There's a limit, like that have been set for hours per day. So we understand that. Not the Admiralty doesn't use the devices for every subject every day, but we do have for every subject maybe different days. Yeah, so it's class by class needs. And we do, I know some parents do compare, hey, how come this class actually use more of the device as compared to the other class? Because like I mentioned just now, is based on the class needs and also how fast the children actually be able to navigate and then set up, get to use to the routines. So we understand some of your concerns here. So like mentioned just now, definitely in terms of cyber awareness, lessons, the children will be reminded you have to go through cyber awareness lesson to ensure that they are able to be a responsible user of the device. So next is about partnering parents. Parents, this is very important for school and parents to partner each other. To support that, we will have engagement session to support parents' journey. Do not worry. Just now I mentioned about the Mozart mobile device management. We are going to have a workshop whereby parents you can try we will have hands-on for parents to try how to link your child your phone and your child smart device. Yeah. So we do welcome feedback from parents. There are parents who actually give feedback to their form teachers, their subject teachers, with regards to any challenges that the child may face, like maybe several any issues in regards to peers, so parents and teachers work along together to ensure that, like mentioned, the children are able to use the device safely and responsibly. Beginning of the year, we are going to have this device policy given out to the children. Madam Masti, myself, will go through the children, Admirals, what are the things that they can do, what are the things they can't do. And if any one of them misuse the device, what will happen? So we, FTs, Madam Masti, myself, will go through with them beginning of the year, and definitely every term, there's always a reminder about the policy that they have acknowledged. So parents, do not worry. If there's any concern I mentioned, anytime you can come back to me, you can come back to Madam Masti, or even the form teachers or subject teachers. So, next slide. Yeah. Okay. Other than partnering you, parents, I also hope that at home, okay, you are also able to display, can help us in the following ways, model good habits for your children, because I think we are a role model to them. They see what they will do, what we do. So like, for example, during meals, you don't use devices. So if your child actually eating their meals and using devices, then maybe you should put a stop to that. Maybe also you can have a conversation with your child about safe and responsible use of technology. Because here in school, we emphasize on that. We hope that at home, it will also be emphasized. Okay, maybe at home, you also can set ground rules for the internet and device usage, like the timing, the screen time. Always have these conversations so that the children know that in school, there are still rules and regulations. At home, there's still control and manage. Yeah, there's still control, in the use of the device at home. So parents, actually, I wanted to share with you the pricing. However, I have not gotten back from my vendors because they mentioned that probably they're going to be a new launch. So this is just like I mentioned just now, the preferred device is iPad. However, parents, yeah, you may choose to use tab. Your child may use tab. Yeah. So if there's any concern about the usage of the device, do let us know. Yeah, the model. If you're not sure, like I mentioned just now, it doesn't have to be a new iPad or a new device, but just ensure that it's not it should be able to go on or log on to SLS, even other applications that we are using. If you're unsure about the model or that, please do come and feel free to contact me. Yeah. Parents, one of the concern may be about pricing. For students who are under FAS, finance assistance scheme, do not worry. Well, there's subsidized pricing for this group of children. What will happen is that beginning of the year, we'll have the list of our FAS students. Then the school will actually give out a form whereby, with regards to the purchase of the device. So school will purchase the device for the student first, and then the school will work out with you in terms of the payment. Important things to note after today's session, your parents, I will send a PG message with regards to enrollment of your child to this program. I'll be sharing a link for the purchase of device also by our recommended vendors. Do keep a lookout for it. If you did not receive anything, probably because there was issue in logging to PG message, you can always send an email to me later at the end of it. At the end of today, sharing, I'll be sharing with you my contact details, my email, so that you can always email me or Madam Masni, and also our ICT members if you have any concern with regards to this matter, right? So parents, just to take note also, all right, if you're buying a new iPad for your child, a new tab, please ensure that your child's name and class is on the box or on the child's device. Because what happens like this year, when the child actually hand out the device to us beginning of the year, we find that there's no name. But luckily for us, we actually have a list of children who actually give out the devices to the form teachers. So we actually take note of a record who are the ones. So we manage to find out who this device belongs to. Yeah. Beginning of the year, next year, your child have to pass the iPad to the FT on the first day of school or second day. Some parents actually do need more time to purchase the device. It's okay, because at P3, the children actually takes time to learn the ICT skills. Probably we will take about months, like the first term, to ensure that in place, with the children learn how to navigate the device. So it's okay if the child is not able to pass the device on the first day of school, right? Parents, do not worry. If your child actually hand over the device to us, it will take about 3 to 4 days for it to be enrolled in MDM. When we mention about new iPad, means that there's no password, nothing, you have not configured anything on the new iPad, because it must be locked out from any ID. Why? It's because everything will be wiped out when we actually enroll it in MDM. So if it's a new iPad, it'd be good. But if you actually have a current iPad, which you want your child to use, or a shared iPad, before you actually hand it over to us, you must remember to lock out from your ID. Because like I mentioned just now, once we enroll it in MDN, okay, you'll be wiped out. So just remember to remove any password, sign out from your iCloud account. Yeah, when you actually hand over the iPad to us. So when your child iPad have been enrolled to MDM and we return, you can still sign on to your iPad, your ID, to be able to use it, and then whatever that you actually downloaded from your account is still there. It's just that when we are doing the enrollment, we need to ensure that any password, any ID are removed first before we actually do the enrollment of the MDM. Yeah, parents? Okay. Now I shall hand over the time to Madam Masti to share more about the learning device environment in P3, P4, 5, and 6. Yeah. Madam Masti?
Okay, can you hear me? Okay, all right. Okay, we'll move on to learning with devices. In our classes, when we use devices, it's really to harness the use of technology. So it's not totally everything with devices. We do use a blended mix of paper and pen as well as technology. So when we use devices, it's really to enhance that learning process because we want the students to be ready for 21st CC. We want students to be ready when they go on to secondary school. We want the students to be ready, for the future learning and the movement that we are going to see where ICT technology is going to be more prevalent in the use of our learning and curriculum. Okay, so next. All right. What I want to share with you when we use devices and if we do not use devices, but students still are expected to use certain uh, learning with technology. So when students do not have the devices, what happens is that teachers will loan devices. And if you want to use Google Classroom or Google platform, for instance, there is going to be a two-step verification process. um, it is a little, it will take a little longer time for them to log on. The reason is because of security issues. And that is why we encourage students to own a device. Number one, for ease of use. And also, they require only a one-time login, which means that parents will need to give only a one-time code and the students will be able to use their devices throughout. However, if let's say you are using a school loaned device and a teacher can only have like a maximum of number of students where they can provide that code, you see, and then we have to trouble parents to give the two-step verification process, the code. So it's going to be inconveniencing parents, and also it will take a longer time for the lesson to start in the classroom. Um, and another thing is that we encourage students to own a device because Google will detect multiple attempts, hence the need for verification. So that is one of the reasons why it is really advisable for students to own a device, and whatever work that they do will be saved in that device rather than a school loaned one, because a school loaned one, then you have to transfer whatever that they have done either via a thumb drive or the cloud base. And then when you want to go into the cloud base, you still need to have the password, the user ID. So it's going to get a little longer to get the information that you need for your class projects or for your schoolwork. Okay. And one more thing that I need to inform parents is that if we rely on web-based sites, it is not really recommended. The reason is because at any time, these sites that we rely on might one day be just discontinued. So one example is Edmodo. When we before we embarked on SLS or even the one-to-one program, we wanted a cloud-based system where we can get students to save their work and where we can assign work online for students. So one of the things that we used was Edmodo. However, there was a time when they actually discontinued the site, and then all the work that we have over there is all gone. So that is why we started on this journey for the one-to-one device. Okay. And what is the uh, pros and cons of using your iPad versus other devices? Okay, there are some um, questions parents post in the Q&A, and one of the things asked is that can I use Samsung Tab? Can I use Redmi? Can I use other devices? Can. However, I need to also inform parents that these devices, if the students bring, there might be some issues with the installation of MDM. because this MDM system that is going to be installed works best with iOS system. So I would rather recommend that parents get the iPads for your child. Okay. And why MDM is very useful. It allows co-control between school and parents. So there is also another question where parents ask, they might not be too sure on how to actually work with the MDM, how to control the devices for the students, how to actually use the features. Not to worry, because we will be having workshops and we will be helping parents to bring you through how to actually navigate the features in MDM, because we know that this is one of your prior concerns and one of your the things that is upmost in your list, that you must know what your children are doing with the devices. And there's also some concerns in the Q&A. You might not be aware of what your child are looking at when they are having a device. So one thing about MDM, it allows you to control what are the things you allow your child to access at home, any websites. You can actually control YouTube sites using your MDM. So this is what I do with my class. Yes, when I ask them to go and do research, somehow they stumble upon, hey, I can use YouTube website. But I told them, your YouTube is already blocked. So one thing I want to assure parents, YouTube app is blocked. However, they can access on website. And that is where you can come in and teachers can come in. So in my class, I actually block YouTube. However, if I want to use, I will unblock it. So they know that they cannot just go anywhere they like. And gaming apps also, no gaming apps on devices. However, they are very smart. The children are very clever. So they go gaming online. And if we catch them, then we want to know, we will do our, thorough checking and what are the things that we discover. So these are the things that you can inform us. What are the things that you are concerned about, and we will do the necessary actions. Okay. Okay, and then another thing that I want to actually share with you is that when we use the iOS system, when we use the iPad, there is this airdrop feature that allows easy sharing between teacher and students. Another feature that I like is that we have this app in the iOS system alone, which is called Schoolwork. And Schoolwork allows the teacher to assign, just using the iOS app, no need Google, no need any other third-party platforms. So this is what I like about the iPads and the iOS system. From experience, I find that the iPad has a more convenient and an easier way to manage screen time. For example, even if you don't have the MDM, you can use other screen time management like our Pact, screen time, some control over your screen time. Okay. Mm, yeah, and based on our observations, a majority of parents opt for the iPad, and thus peer support is strong in using iPad. So students work best when they work with each other. So they will find out from their friends if they do not know how to use. So that support is better with the iPad, because if let's say I have a class with two different devices or a multiple use of device, then the teacher will have to spend, okay, this group of people using Samsung Tab, I will have to spend some time with you, how to use these devices. Yeah, so that is some of the things that I can share, the advantages of using iPad. Okay, then the ease of scanning using iPad, this is also another feature that you can see with using the device. I mean, I have tried using the Samsung Tab and scanning document is not as straightforward as using the iPad. Because if I use my iPad and I want to scan, for example, that time when we had our COVID lockdown, so what the students do, they just screenshot and then submit, the teachers can mark and then return. So this is one of the things that are useful, I find. Okay, and then managing devices in class. Okay. All right. Now, this is an app which is only available in iOS system. And I use this a lot in my class, Apple Classroom app, because this app allows me to see what the students are doing. So, I mean, I can imagine your frustrations at home when you are seeing your child with the device. You do not know what your child is doing, right? And imagine a teacher with a class of 30 to 40 students. How is a teacher going to manage each and every device? I mean, we also need to know what the children are doing when we are teaching. So this is one of the useful feature that we use in our classroom to actually monitor what the children are doing in class. Okay, this is what I mean, an example. If you see those small little icons, the orange one, that is for pages. It's like Word document on the iPad. And then you can see some other apps that the children are doing. Some went to photos. And then, how come this boy is going to Safari? You know, so what I can do is, I can go to this student and then I can click view screen and I know what this child is exactly doing live at that period of time. Okay, and this app also allows me to lock everybody's iPad, especially when I want their attention and I want to teach them a lesson and uh, uh, bring them through the concept. So I don't want them to see the iPad. I lock their screen, and those are just the routines that we do in class. Okay, so this is what it looks like when the screen is locked. They really cannot do anything at all. So they know that they have to focus their attention back to the teacher. Okay. All right. So what you see here, these are just some examples of apps that we use using the device. This is a Keynote app where the students, they use manipulative, like for mathematics, we use concrete manipulatives, and then we go through the CPA approach, concrete, pictorial, the abstract, and I use a schoolwork app to actually ask them to submit their Keynote into the system so that I can check their work. Yeah, one thing about Keynote is that you can type, you can take pictures, you can insert, you can export, and a lot of other things that we can do. They can handwrite. So one thing that I suggest, if you get the iPad for them, you can get a cheap version of a stylus. It doesn't have to be the Apple Pencil, because I know the Apple Pencil can be quite pricey, but any pencil is better than using your finger to write. Okay. So the next app that I want you to take a look is actually the Numbers app. This Numbers app is very special on the iPad because it provides them another way, like in Excel, but because it is a numbers app on the handheld device, so it is actually very handy and a very useful tool, especially when I'm teaching them a topic on graphs. So I get them to do interviews, gather the data, transpose the table, create the graph, and then come up with sentences to check their understanding on how they read and interpret the graph. Okay. And the next one that I'm going to show you is another app that I do with my class. And this is to generate ideas when they are coming up with a story for composition writing. So they can type, they can do the mind mapping, they can draw. Okay, now the next page that you see, okay, I saw a query from a parent in the Q&A. The concern from this parent is that students should use writing on the paper itself rather than typing. I want to assure parents that not all writing for paper one is done online or using a device. So not to worry, because we do have drafting process. So what I do with my class is that draft one, they do on paper. Then draft two, uh, so draft three is the part where they need to publish their work. So what we do in our school is that, okay, we teach them the different strategies, generate ideas, how to sequence their story using the story mountain, and they do their peer editing, and they do their publishing. So what you see on the Pages app, I use the schoolwork, get them to submit, and then I can still do some more editing on their work. So not everything is on the device. Okay, so don't worry, because we still require them to write on pen and paper. Okay. 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 The next slide you will see is actually, okay, now this is useful because the thing that is very how to say, something that is the buzz, going around now is AI, artificial intelligence. So what we use AI for in the classroom is really to enhance that learning, enhance that writing, so not to replace the writing. So what you see over here is that this is an AI tool to guide students to improve their writing. So this is only like a small little part where they upload their work, and then they will see how else to improve their writing. Okay. So the next slide you will see is AI on SLS. So in SLS you have like a very simple tool to help them check their grammar. This is what we have for the SLS language feedback assistant, where in this lesson where I get the students to use dialogues in their writing. So they have to be able to use the correct punctuation, the correct the words, the spelling and everything. Okay, so this is a simple AI. Now the next slide you will see is actually a short feedback assistant. Okay, short answer feedback assistant. This is where um the system, the SLS system, actually gives an improved version on their answer and how to actually make their answer better. Okay, so the feedback given by AI in SLS, this is not feedback from me. This is actually feedback from SLS itself. So this is actually also very good because students can then act on this feedback, and then they can come up with a better answer. Okay, so the next slide, I would encourage parents to actually obtain an earpiece for your child because, sorry, next slide. Yeah, can, thank you. Okay, why they need the earpiece is because there are many multimodal forms. It can be a picture, video, sound, audio. So this is where they will need an earpiece to actually listen. Sometimes it can be an oral practice. So what I do with my class is that I need them to upload and then listen to their reading and the stimulus-based conversation. Okay, so I will move on because I think we do not have much time. Okay, so can we go to the performance task? Okay, now this is using digital tools for collaboration. We used to have Google Jamboard, but I mean, as time goes, there are certain changes in the online system where certain things are taken away or certain things are being improved. So there are many other different tools that we can use to collaborate. So this is one of the things that my class, the students use to actually collaborate on a social studies project. And the next slide will show you actually how they collaborate using Google Slides. So Google Slides where I can come in to give my feedback and my comments. Okay, so the one-to-one learning experience, we do invite teachers to come in and we learn from each other how to actually implement the one-to-one learning system in our school. Okay, so yes, one thing about iPad, iOS system, we have augmented reality with the Reality Composer app, where because at that time when we couldn't visit the zoo, we couldn't, come out of the house. So how do we bring outside in? So this is where we use augmented reality to try to make as real as possible the learning in the classroom. Okay, so this one is how we use Google Classroom to archive the learning, to make folders, to actually really the learning is very seamless in this manner. Okay, so the next part, learning with devices. So this is what Madam Faiza had also shared earlier about multimodal, the mix of on-screen, off-screen, synchronous versus asynchronous experience, and how we learn with technology. So the next one, I will pass back to Madam Faiza. Okay, this is Miao Cheyue. You might want to listen to her, her experience and how she has benefited from the program. And I mean, in secondary schools, we all know they use the devices for their learning. And this is Miao Cheyue. She was a head prefect in 2022, and she's also an award recipient from the Northwest CDC Outstanding All-Rounders Award in 2023. So let's play the recording
Hello
that she
everyone, I am Ziyue, an alumnus of Admiralty Primary School. Today, I'll be sharing about my experience learning with a device and hopefully persuade you to try it too. Here is the basic outline of what I'll be going through. First, here is a quick self-introduction. I am 14 years old, graduated from Admiralty in 2022, and am currently studying at Raffles Girls' School. I have been in the iPad class since primary 3. Now you know a little bit more about me, let me tell you about my journey using a device. To begin, let's cycle back to when I was primary 2. We had the option to pick between an iPad class and a non-iPad class. Originally, my parents and I were uncertain about what choice we should make, and we had quite a long discussion about it. Here are the factors we took into consideration: personal preference, responsibility, and our current situation. I really wanted to learn with a device. I thought it would be really fun and cool to use an iPad when learning. We will also be given more freedom and choice over how we wanted to study. Next, my parents considered if I was ready to use a device for my learning. Will I be responsible enough to make good use of my device? Or did I need more time to mature and have good control over my device usage? After my repeated reassurance that I would use my device solely for my studies, my parents readily agreed with my decision. Lastly, in an environment where technology is rapidly developing, having the ability to navigate the technological waters seemed to be an essential skill. I had the opportunity to develop my internet abilities, so why not give it a shot? So, I went to an iPad-based class. We studied using a mixture of device and paper, using apps like Google Classroom, Keynotes, Google Docs, ClassKick, and more. All my experiences with these devices and apps proved to be very useful. They allowed me to get used to a new device to do a variety of work for any subject. Even right now, I'm using Keynotes for this presentation. We also use paper worksheets, so the traditional way of doing work and preparing for our examinations was not missed. I found this idea of blended learning to be the best of both worlds, as we were able to gain more skills whilst not missing out on other crucial parts of our education. Now, as a secondary student, I am still using my iPad for my daily tasks and schoolwork. Using a device from primary school helped me to lay the foundations for my usage of an iPad in secondary school. Since I was still using an iPad, I got used to the new apps introduced quickly and did not need much time to adapt to the method of learning with a student learning device. I also had more time to explore the newer apps, and when I had to use apps like ClassKick, I already knew how to use them. I also realized how handy the device is. It has organization tools, checklists, graphs, and many applications that are beneficial to my studies. One example is Desmos, a math graph app, which will prove useful in secondary school as we will learn things like linear and quadratic graphs. These apps allows us to learn at home or outside lesson time. I have an incredibly enjoyable time learning and exploring these apps and websites, and I do not regret my decision to join an iPad class one bit. Here is a table of summarized benefits and possible challenges from my perspective. Using a device at an early age can prove to be useful as it can provide early access and opportunities for your child to explore and learn about technology. It provides them with a first-hand experience of using technology for learning, which is an incredibly valuable skill as the child grows up. It is also a life skill in modern society, hence starting at an early but suitable age will prepare them for future use of devices and may even spark their curiosity about the technological world. However, as most parents are concerned, poor control over the usage of devices may lead to other issues, but preventative measures are put into place. One can set their screen time limit, and the school can even restrict the apps on one's device. Furthermore, I believe we should educate students to exercise responsibility for their device usage and learning. Hence, I strongly recommend you to give better learning a go. Whether one chooses to explore the path I chose depends on the child's readiness and inclination. I hope that my sharing has been insightful and has given you another perspective to consider in this whole process. Thank you for listening, and I wish you all the best. Bye!
Thank you, parents. Yeah, that's a sharing from by our alumnus who is not able to be with us today because this is actually many of our alumnus exam period. Yeah, so just to share with you, there are two links here. You can take a look at how our program is like. Any other information that you think is useful for you. If you after going through the website, the sites, you can, if there's any other further concern, you can always get back to us. Yeah, so let's move on. Okay, this is the contact. Just now I know that the parents who ask who, they can contact in case they have any issues with MDM, any issue with password. So we also have Madam Shamila Liu, she's our ICT manager. So Madam Shamila Liu is the one that is in charge of MDM, together with our another ICT manager, Mr. Hamid. So Madam Shamila work very closely with parents. Sometimes parents have issues, she will call, she will email parents regards to any issues that they may have regards to MDM or password or devices, troubleshooting of your child's devices. So next we move on to the last part, which is the Q&A. I think while Madam Master was sharing, while listening, I actually can see that most of the Q&A, the questions have been answered. Let me take a look whether there's any new questions. I think all the questions have been answered. See, okay, I think all open questions have been answered by school leaders. Not sure, and yeah, I think we okay. Okay. Okay, I think our school leaders also with us here. Is there any any Mr. Chen or Mr. Amri? Yeah, maybe you want to share anything?
My name is Lisa.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. Parents, because it's already 5:05, I won't take up more of your time. Just wanted to thank parents for coming, for asking the questions that you needed to. I know there are naturally concerns, right? Because when we are talking about the use of a device, what should we put in place to make sure that our children are safe? In this case, you're talking about safe from the cyberspace, right? And ultimately, this is a very valid concern. Any of us who are parents here, myself included, whenever we want to put a certain device and certain new tool in the hands of our children, I think there are always a million and one questions that we need to ask. So these are good questions that you're asking. Ultimately, I also want to say that we know our children the best. So parents, you do know your child. What are certain inclinations that your child has? Are there certain concerns that your child has because of certain habits that the child has developed over the years? Are there certain boundaries that you see that your child is not able to keep? And I think that these are things that you might want to then have that discussion with your form teachers. If you have severe concerns about your child coming on board this program next year for very, very good reasons, please get in touch with us, get in touch with the form teacher, get in touch with Madam Iza to discuss. Some of our children, even without the devices currently at P1, P2, are already addicted to gaming. So that's why I just wanted to then sound that word of caution that I don't think that it is about the tool that is placed in their hands that will result in that gaming addiction or not, or cyber addiction, so on and so forth. But I think right from the start, we need to make sure that what was pointed out, I think, by a parent, thank you so much for the feedback. I think you stated what are some points that you feel the school should do, should work with parents on so that we can put in place a very safe learning environment for our children. Those are boundaries. I think the boundaries that you have suggested are boundaries that we need to set with our children, both in school as well as at home. Because even if, let's say, with the MDM, I think there is only just one structure that we can put in place. But if the habits are not there, and there are other boundaries that the children are actually breaking beyond the MDM, then unfortunately, it's still not a safe space for the children. Right. So, but on the other hand, I've also seen children who have the right boundaries, even without the MDM, actually there's no problem. You ask them, they will tell you right straight away that it's not right of me to go to these websites. It's not right of me to be using it when it's outside of the classroom and in the canteen. And hence it goes back to that part on boundaries. If we are able to set in place with the boundaries, at the same time, we know certain students will require the structure. Lastly, naturally, there will be disciplinary measures and our children will have to understand the consequences, right? Certain actions that you do, there will be consequences as a result of that. I think this is part and parcel of them growing up. It's part and parcel of the education landscape that we're looking at. So as the education landscape changes and is evolving so quickly, I think it's a very measured approach that we need to take, that we need to put these devices in their hands, but we need to make sure that there is responsible use on the part of both the school as well as at home. Let's partner together to make sure that it is within the right control, right? Ultimately, I think we want to make sure that parents at home, we do what we can to control. In school, the teachers will have to continue to teach our children. I have had, I think anecdotally, some children who came back to share with their teachers that when they joined secondary school, they were quite surprised by how basic it is in terms of the teachers who were teaching them about certain things. Because already by then they could do some of the research on their own, the independence, that self-directed learning is all coming in. So when our children are able to come back and actually share some of these experiences with us, then we also feel that I think we have put in place something that is good. But I think there are some of these things that parents today, you all have sounded a word of caution. We do treat that very seriously, and we will continue to work with everyone on that. Okay, so just wanted to say a big thank you to parents. Give it a lot of thought, right? Give it a lot of thought. Have a discussion with your form teachers about this, with Madam Iza if you need to get in touch with her. Okay, and I think this will make for very good learning for our children moving forward. Okay. Otherwise, now time is already 5:10. I won't hold everyone back. I'd like to thank everyone for this very productive evening. I hope we have given you all good information. Okay. Thank you so much, parents. Thank you. You may choose to exit the Zoom now.
Thank you, parents. Yeah. Thank you.